Go on.
My God, your social security number and your date of birth and the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card? That's wild. That's nuts.
Okay, wait, Cass, before you begin, are we all now watching the stream?
Adventures of Mana, touch to start.
Okay, so since this, I'm going to pick up from where the first one came off. So I am going to briefly provide this is what happened in the previous nights. See, look, there's some Final Fantasy adventure happening right now. you may remember this from August.
Seizure-inducing hell is this?
This is the previous game that technically this is a remake of. So we're just reminding ourselves what happened again back in August when, like, before multiple streams occurred.
God, that was August. We've been doing this for.
Well, I mean, we've taken a lot of breaks. And like, also, like,
all of them were justified because fuck Mana.
Terrifying.
Oh my God, it just keeps going.
And well, I mean, it was like 3 hours that night. So, and I condensed it down to 2 minutes, and then also segged it into like now you can see what the new version looks like. Like, ooh,
oh, is that? Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yes,
that's very
nice. Yeah.
All right. So now we're right about up to where we were. We were venturing around the desert. We got a chocobo. Now we're at Adventures of Mana. So now we're ready to go.
But also, holy blinking. No.
Now we're ready to explore the shifting
eyes.
sands and hunt Medusa.
Bob. Oh wait, is this based off of the game that I was watching the video of earlier today?
Yes, it was. Wow. We didn't time it like I didn't time it deliberately, but yeah, this picks up where that left off.
Where are her pants?
Nobody knows.
Where are my pants? You can't say it without saying that.
This is the remake of Adventure of Mana?
Where are her bunny ears? She's already like 90% of the way there. Where are the ears?
I mean, she was like a slave gladiator. I suppose they like basically dress her up like this.
That makes me uncomfortable. You know, I was just, you know, no, I don't like this anymore. I'm just going to drink this bourbon barrel-aged stout. Cal Scrub, you want to guess the ABV?
I'll say 11.
Fuck, that's a good guess. And I'll say yes.
Wow. So this was a game, technically, it was originally for mobile phones. And now...
I never would have guessed.
And was then adapted.
I clocked this one at a glance, bitch! Okay, this is based on the Game Boy game that I had extremely kind things to say about, yes?
I mean, yes, let's say that.
And you are continuing it from where you left off on the Game Boy game, yes?
Yes.
Because you haven't played this game on stream before, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Did you specifically like get to the point that you left off on the Game Boy game?
I did.
Oh, you just missed the recap, Callie.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was a beautiful recap. We were all transfixed, except me. I was shouting about something obscene just because I could. Nobody stopped me.
As if this is new.
Cass, do you have something to say to the class?
I mean, I did, and then there was flashy things going on. Oh my God.
Hey, fanboy.
Mon Dieu.
You missed the recap. It was very impressive.
Which
It was
recap?
not.
What?
Oh, Goggle Bob made a video that just basically fast-forwarded through everything we've gone through till now. And it was like watching 8 months of suffering in 40 seconds.
Oh, you'll have to link
It was
that
only
to me
5
later.
months.
Wait, are your help?
Don't
your
worry, it
helpers
felt like
more-
5 years.
Are your helpers any more helpful in this
Nope,
version of
not
the
in
game?
any conceivable way.
Yeah, I'm
That's
noticing
why
that.
she's
Like,
running
game
into
is
the opposite
just-
wall.
She just runs around
This
like an
game
idiot.
is-
Just
No,
throw a
I'm not.
dagger
No,
at the
I'm not
wall
stopping.
when-
I'm not stopping here. This game is mind-bogglingly ugly.
Did you throw a dagger at the wall when all the enemies were dead already?
Yes.
you did.
Yeah,
This
that's
looks
after
like
she was trying to
goddamn
run
shit,
into
and
it.
I understand why, because it's like, oh, this is an extremely cheap mobile game circa 2013. But holy shit, this looks so bad.
I love it when Fanboy gets like just righteously, furiously angry.
Like,
Righteously
I
is
don't like
accurate in
the
those
original. Like, I don't like Final Fantasy Adventure, but there is dignity to its aesthetic that this lacks.
You'll be excited to know that I'm playing this on the PlayStation TV.
Why would I be excited for that?
Because
I think I'm excited for
remember
that
it
because-
exists.
I
All
already
right.
remember it exists.
This
All
might
right,
be the first time we've streamed off the PlayStation TV.
I believe it.
Yeah, for all
okay.
those fun Vita games you can play.
So, Gogglebob, I have to ask, and I hate myself for asking, but I can't not ask. Why the fuck did they not like give the girl like even just rudimentary AI? Because game characters have had AI for a
Look, she
long
did
fucking
something.
time.
Yeah, right. Just as he asks this.
Maybe this is to make it more true to the source material.
Yeah, like is this a purity test thing?
Tried to stab her.
Kinda. But she's alright.
So does she have HP in this
She
version?
does
or
not.
Will Okay.
She just wiggles around like in the Game Boy game.
I can't think of something that would make the like. You have attained the next level. That is a phrase. That's a phrasing. That's a phrasing no native English speaker would ever use.
Oh, I do like that the but they
They
used
just
like the little
stole
Ape Theater sprites. Yeah, I know what they actually are. No, I'm not gonna fucking say it. They're Ape
The thing
Theater.
is, they're not even all FF1 sprites.
No, they're not. But like this, it's enough to like get the basics.
It's just it's an odd choice by dint of the fact that like I guess it's meant to be a call out to the fact that this was even in like the first one even in Japan was treated as a Final Fantasy spin-off. The first one like it was Final Fantasy Adventure here, but in Japan it was Seiken Densetsu Final Fantasy Gaiden.
I'm trying to think of a more like final something thing, but all I can think of is a slur, and I'm not saying that.
Yeah, it's too late. I already said the game's actual name, so you don't have to.
Thank you.
But yeah, so this like appears to have fixed nothing.
I disagree because at the very least, what it has done is created a situation where you don't have to go to the pause menu every 3 seconds. You
That
can,
is
Okay,
important.
so this has
Like-
fixed one thing out of the 70 things that needed fixing.
Like no, sure.
Go back to the top of the screen, Del.
Like that's a serious problem I have with many Game Boy games, but like the one that like I felt it the most with was the Oracle games, Ages and Seasons, because you have to pause that game every 15 seconds. And I never owned a Game Boy Color. I was playing that shit on Advance, which meant I had 2 buttons that were going completely unused. And obviously,
No,
this
they
could
were
not be-
actually going to making it so that the screen could look ugly as shit sometimes.
I remember
Uh.
pressing those buttons by accident and being very unhappy.
Those are fun. We have
no.
fun.
So the thing that I'm thinking as I look at this is, one, is it still possible to fuck yourself with pickaxes?
No.
Always possible to fuck yourself.
Oh,
with a
they
pickaxe.
did they figure out a way to make that impossible?
They
That's
figured it
really
out
uncomfortable.
by virtue of the fact that you can no longer save absolutely everywhere. You can
Oh,
save at every screen of the overworld, and it depends on the dungeon. But basically, if they identify the dungeon as one where you could do that, you can no longer save in every room.
I think that if I was someone who did not have an understanding of how Final Fantasy Adventure worked, I would find that extremely irritating.
All right.
mean-
You can still find it extremely irritating, even knowing it.
Yeah, no, that's
Like
that's,
my
that's
like
reasonable.
well the thing is I'm saying like the naive player does not understand why that happens and has no way of guessing what the distinction is that says I'm not allowed to save here.
I mean,
But
in
me, as
general,
someone
it's
who
if
has-
you're in a dungeon. So
But there are dungeons where it doesn't apply, which makes it more confusing and irritating.
Oh, yeah, of
But-
this
course.
dungeon is
More
not.
broadly speaking, what I would say is you're making a remake. You could have just fixed it.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah,
is
that's-
definitely the thought that I had. That's kind of like, you guys kind of identified a problem here. Maybe
You knew there was a problem, and your solution was, well, I can't touch the original, it's a sacred text.
No, it's not. It's fucking Final Fantasy Adventure. It's not a sacred text. Like
That was my
turned
point.
off-
That is always my point when I'm talking about remakes.
Obviously, but I just put down Dragon Quest 3. I love the full title, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. That is the full title. That's on the SKU.
That is on the box.
Yeah, that's on the box. But like, if any
it's on
game
Amazon.
was to be called a sacred text, Dragon Quest 3 is probably on the short list, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's not a super controversial statement. It was,
Especially in Japan.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's about as perfect.
It brought
as
the
an NES
economy to a
RPG.
crash.
It's about as perfect as an NES RPG can be, right? And even that they fiddled with a little bit. Like, you know,
There's actually a lot of underlying changes to how the math underneath the game works in order to
Sure.
accommodate for the other changes they made.
Sure, and that's totally fair, right? But like, you know, while playing it, my first
It's
experience
designed
with it
to
was,
emulate the experience. It's designed to make you not think they've changed as much as they have.
yeah, but like while playing it, I was just like, oh man, it's Dragon Quest 3. Fucking awesome.
Exactly as I remembered it.
Exactly as I remember it, right? This is not a game I feel deserves that level of reverence. This
I mean, this
And,
was
like-
the start of the Mana series. That means something.
because
My
In
like
the way that,
both
like,
things are different.
much in the way that fertilizer is the start of, you know, a gnarled tree that falls over and breaks my fence.
Very specific, but I'll accept it.
I'm just saying, like, there are many, many video games that, like, I would say the remake had better, like, barely deviate at all. And there are many, many video games where I say, oh, thank God they're remaking it. They can finally fucking fix it. Mana, especially the Game Boy one, is one that I would say, oh my God, they can fix it now.
And they try, like, the thing that's wild is that this is the second remake of this game.
That is
The
why
first
it's
one-
such an interesting thing to look at, because they remade the Mana this game. They remade in such a gigantic way that it was virtually unrecognizable. Like so many of the decisions they made were like, okay, here's a choice that's going to make the game easier, and some of it was like, we're gonna make
We're just going to make it different.
yeah, we're gonna give a whole new reason for living to a freaking vampire character that literally nobody cares about.
So I'm going to say that Sword of Mana is not a fun game, and it's not a good game. But it has a reason to exist, whereas this is an entirely valueless object.
Damn.
When Fanboy calls something valueless, I think that means like way more than
Yeah.
when I call something the bitch of the earth.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. Like fanboys
Yeah.
there, fanboys there playing like a fucking I don't know. It's something that's called like a Yakitori Pro Dream dev kit.
I will
That
sit
was,
here and
that
tell
were
you the value of the
17.
PlayStation 2 Yoshinoya game.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's not as bad as Stuart Jip calling something valueless, though.
Yeah,
Stuart
but-
Jip
but
calls
Stuart-
everything valueless.
Yeah,
No, he
no.
said-
The problem is that Stuart is saying that all games are good, and like that just I find that devalues that statement in the opposite direction.
This is the kind of statement that only happens when you have a childhood spent playing Dizzy games.
53.5 will outlive us all.
It's like we love
That's what I
Dizzy. We love
said.
how he does a forward flip every time you jump. We love how we love how his
We
game
love
is
this
11
awful
minutes long.
Eggman.
We love this awful egg person. No, God, this was about not Stewart, but Mr. Jeremy Parrish, who most of us are familiar with. And I said something about how like you can watch a shitload of impressionistic French cinema to make all your references weird, but you can't recreate your childhood with an Amiga. That doesn't work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, it is an impossibility. You can call up Jeremy Parrish and be like, if this Parrish, say
Oh yeah.
Motherfucker, this ain't Parrish.
This got weird.
Don't worry about it.
It could be. Do
I'm
you
not.
want it to be?
Calling it out.
They make him say,
Yeah,
my toasty frog. My toasty frog.
What?
Don't
Do
worry
not
about
worry
it.
about
It's a crowd chant. Don't worry about it. We're moving on.
This is one of the things just acknowledge. Or
You're better off not knowing.
Okay.
I think the thing that like blows my mind most about this remake is how they decided that it was an artistic statement to have the helper character just randomly ping pong off the walls and do nothing else.
I think one of the things that is most overbearingly distressing to me is that they zoomed the camera further in. You can't see as much of the room.
You can't see as much of the room, and one other completely random bullshit thing they did is that depending on how the room is shaped, like, enemies can just straight up assault you in the doorway. Like, you have literally nowhere to go. And...
Like, there was nothing. You took a game that had an overwhelming surfeit of issues, of obvious issues.
You added more bespoke ones.
So, like, we're so fixable just by like looking at the game and being like, oh, this is trying to be an action RPG of a simple Zelda-style persuasion, but with a little more RPG element. What if we worked from that base premise and instead decided that everything that was pressed onto a ROM chip in 1990 was a sacred writ which could not be deviated from for fear of the punishment of God?
All right, here's like a really fucking stupid observation I have just watching this, but like I feel like it's important. I feel like if I didn't point it out, I would be mad at myself. Why does the camera like show you the room that you're not in all the fucking time? Look at this right now. There's the wall, and then there's the other side of the wall.
That's the wall, brother.
Look at this room you can't get into from here.
Yeah,
wall,
it's
brother.
like I could like understand
There
maybe
are
like if the
contexts
camera
for
was
that.
like persistently zoomed out and like each room had like zero borders and like it was just set up to be a like, you know, okay, so here's the top view of the maze. It's like you're playing like various Dreamcast RPGs. Evolution, World of Sacred Device. There I said.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's a deep
exactly.
cut.
Yeah, well, you know, when everyone else zigs, I zag. But like, you could have
crave the
stopped the
adventures of
screen
Mag Launcher.
from scrolling every time you reach like a certain amount of the edge. That's something like, you know, Baby's first Game Maker game does. There are so
some of
many
the
ways you could have avoided this, and it just looks so unpolished.
So, some of the reasons that it does that is that it's meant to fix another problem that like many players would have with the original game. I'm not going to go so far as to say this is per se a problem, but it is a form of design that has gone the way of the dodo for the most part.
I'm listening.
Which is, there are areas that you can only access by smacking an unmarked wall with like the pickaxe or something else.
Ah, yes, the old Zelda, like Zelda 1 bomb everything ethos. Of course.
Yeah, and the idea, I think, for why they did this was to hint at the existence of some of these rooms.
And that
Okay,
would
but they
absolutely
didn't-
make sense.
I feel like that could have been solved just by adding cracks to the certain wall textures. I
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can do this.
I
There's
don't
many
feel like
ways to
that would have
accomplish this.
been like a I don't feel like that would have been like a defilement of
But
the
they apparently made the
glory
cracks
that is
subtle enough for
Lord of
Goggle
Mana
Bob to
or
miss
Secret
one.
Mana, whatever the fuck the name is. Adventure of Mana.
Just one, huh?
This is Adventures of Mana.
When
Adventures.
I was paying attention.
I mean, there was definitely one that I deliberately ignored because I had to come back to it. So, knowing this game as I do, and also I'm dealing with another thing that we haven't addressed, which is
The
that
baddies going on top of you.
well,
Everybody's screaming at you to stop.
yep, but no, in this case, and I might just reset the game in a minute if I still haven't gotten these guys to respawn. Yeah, I need to freeze an enemy in this room to make progress, and there are no enemies in this room because they're not
this is a
spawning.
puzzle archetype that exists throughout Final Fantasy Adventure. I think this game might have made it worse.
Wait, you can't
Wait.
just move the snowman through the door?
Yeah,
No.
is that not a thing?
Can you
Nope.
prove it to me?
I am just straight up rebooting. One moment, please.
But wait, no. Oh man.
There's
It doesn't work, I promise you.
Okay.
I believe you, but like I'm just sort of offended, like because if you are trying to recreate like the Game Boy and like that whole era ethos, wouldn't you just have all the enemies respawn in the room every time you enter it? That's
well,
the way
the,
those games
the
worked.
Game Boy, they respawned, like, I think it wasn't if you went back and forth from a room, because you could definitely run into that same quote-unquote glitch, but you needed to move, like, 2 rooms over, and then they'd respawn. Like, that was definitely a thing.
It was much more like easy to delineate what the spawn rules were.
Yes. And I just...
fucking drink it. I'm sorry. I'm John. I'm out. Fuck this.
But did Beat actually leave the Discord?
No.
No.
No, I think he just stepped out to get a drink.
Oh my god,
That
I was
would
like,
be
the
a
still
only
not
lot
back.
the only
Or
thing that can
someone else.
overpower this wretched game is bad coping skills.
I think this game
I have
might
chosen
be a bad coping skill.
I have chosen to deal with this game by rewriting various no limit hits to be about the Toasty Frog, various Toasty Frog fora.
Oh god.
I
Why
apologize
is
for
this
my
happening?
earlier outburst, but not really because I'm still mad.
I'm a thumbnail theater soldier. I thought I told you. I'm a thumbnail
no.
theater soldier. I thought I told you. You got to repeat that 6 times.
I'm a thumbnail theater soldier. Thought I told ya.
There we go.
How's that?
There we go.
I'm a thumbnail
We just
theater
play,
soldier. Thought I told ya. I'm a
We just
thumbnail
play,
theater
Def Jam
soldier.
Fight for New York
Thought I
instead.
told ya. How many? Like I'm in 3 now. Right?
That's 6. That's 6. You were definitely
that's-
you were definitely the Silk the Shaka of our
Ah.
of our little setup here.
Well, I'm glad I could participate. I'm glad to have contributed.
Now we have wonderful do nothing contracts in WCW awaiting us. I love how there's this grotesque little bug man with fucking Super Saiyan hair. And you turn
I was
him into
gonna say like he was wearing like a Billy Graham hairpiece.
yeah, just what's going on here? Why does this game exist?
So the actual reason this exists is it was the only way, I'm sure, that whoever pitched the concept could get a new Mana game into production.
I mean, this was after a big string of Mana failures, like, and also, which includes what's the one that happened? It was cell phone and Vita. I want to say
This
Vision, but
one?
it's not right. No, the one that
you're
is
thinking of
that now
the gotcha game.
discontinued. Yeah, well, no, there was the gotcha game, but there was a game.
Not just games don't fucking count.
There
You're
was a
thinking of like Rise of Mana?
I think it was Rise of Mana, but it was whichever one. It had a stamina meter, like it was that kind of cell phone game.
Like it was a shitty cell phone game.
But it was actually a decent, by all accounts of like what is preserved of it, it was actually a decent like Mana game with its own plot and story and like interesting stuff happening, and like you could only play
Okay,
it for
stopping you there. I've never seen a Mana game where interesting things happen.
fair. But like,
Hey, Goggle Bob, thanks to you, we've seen a lot of Mana games.
it's true. But you're a plural main
Like I
character.
say that as someone who loves Legend of Mana, a game where infamously nothing interesting happens.
Well, clearly,
I'm
you've
not
been
opposed
building
to
your
the
worlds wrong.
I gotta say,
I like her dress.
What's this game rated? E for everybody?
I think it's a.
Maybe E10.
What the fuck is up with her boobs? that is like
She's also got an
Shantae
interesting
levels
walk.
of. That is like Shantae levels of. I bet nobody will call us out on this.
Well, I mean that worked because no one played this.
That
It
is
was on
true.
2 different systems. 2 entirely different systems.
Was one of them a cell phone?
It's the Vita.
I like how you
Remember-
each went for the
God,
opposite.
fanboy, you and maybe Abelbigger will know this one. Do you remember the Talking Time recommendation spreadsheet?
I
Yeah,
do
I do.
remember it existing.
That was
yes.
some bleak stuff there.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
big
anyway.
stuff, but there was a tab for the Vita on the Google Sheets, and I just
Lord.
wrote on that page, "I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby," and somebody else put a picture of Jack Nicholson on there, and for months that was all that was on there.
I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby.
Baby, listen to Iron Maiden. Baby.
You have to sing basically half of that song through your nose, and I love it.
It's great. It's beautiful.
That, you know what they call that? They call that a paradox.
So, interesting fact is
That's
that
gonna be-
Medusa we just fought in the one remake where they changed the plot, they made her the mother of the villain of the game for
Sure,
reasons
why not? Who
that
gives a shit?
didn't help anything.
Who gives a shit?
By this point, most people who are not diehard Mana fans have long since given up.
Okay, so like,
Do those exist?
Hi.
Goggle
I
Bob is one,
discussed this a week
evidently.
or so ago.
Apparently. I mean, I can't imagine him doing this to us if he wasn't. Maybe out of some like sick sadism.
I will say my last piece on Teenage Dirtbag, which I'm much more invested in than this.
Of course.
I respect a song aimed at teenage boys whose moral is that teenage girls can also be dirtbags, just like you.
I mean, shit.
Out of the
They were onto
Gorgon.
something. They were onto something, weren't they?
And they were not being negative about it. It's just like, no. Just treat girls like people. They're people.
Yeah.
Imagine
is-
that.
Teenage boys need this lesson.
It's very
It's-
important.
Not wrong.
Forgive me. Oh, I'm
Well, my son.
You remove a single red tear from Amanda's cheek. Is she a vampire now? Or
She
a
was-
Medusa?
She was turning into a Medusa and you killed her.
Oh wow, that's nice of you.
That's
hate
hardcore.
the
It's-
outfit
how-
design
It's
in
so
that
you
game.
can cure her brother, so it works
You
out.
have a
It's
choke
not
about.
like she was helping.
Wait, is she actually like dead for the rest of the game?
Oh, yeah,
did we
I
just
killed
watch
her.
Eris die?
Yeah, I hit
That's
her with a
awesome.
spear myself, unlike Eris. Like Cloud couldn't even bring himself to kill Eris.
You sound so disgusted at the notion
Cloud
that
just
we do not get halfway through Final Fantasy VII and commit homicide against an innocent girl.
just saying, Cloud's a
I
loser.
mean, I'm saying. I'll say it. I feel like that would have made Final Fantasy VII better.
I'm going to briefly spoil one of my favorite incidental things that they did with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We get to hear some of Eris' internal monologue as she's praying before the big scene,
Uh-huh.
and it calls forth a thought that makes perfect sense. She has never prayed before and does not know how to do it.
Yeah, no, I love that too. That was great. Like she's like, and it's also like, even just in the like cultural zeitgeist, it's also a very common like, hey God, I know I don't do this very often, even though because of the way
But she
Final
has
Fantasy.
like the extra excuse of she's expected to know how this shit works because she's like the last of the ancients.
Yeah, and
And
just
she has
straight up no idea.
how any of it works.
No, it's great because it's like she's like a born
Real.
priestess, and
A real, hey God, it's me, Margaret. I
Yeah,
don't know,
exactly.
I know what I'm
It's a
doing
great
about it.
great scene, genuinely.
and
Yeah,
it,
no,
it-
it
and it
sounds
also
awesome.
it,
I'm not dissing it.
and I'm also going to say, to further spoil it, it comes really great off of the previous bit where she just had a dungeon where she kind of came into her powers, but she still doesn't quite understand why she came into her powers. Like she
He
was,
doesn't know where that came from.
yeah, she was kind of like moving blocks around and stuff, and was like, "Well, all right, I guess I use my stick."
Some of this
Like,
comes naturally, and then a bunch of this is like, I don't know, man.
yeah, yeah. Then the ghosts are back.
I
I always think of this incredible Sparky Sweets PhD line when he was talking about Slaughterhouse-5, and he said that the guy asked the aliens that are like detached from time, "Why are you doing this?" And they just respond, "Why anything? Shit just is." God, we lost so much when Thug Notes went away.
Yeah.
God
Yeah,
bless
we
Greg
did.
Edwards.
Now we
fucking
make a
ruled.
parrot drink his dead sister's tears, and then the parrot turns into a bard.
Thanks for that free word association.
Hey, where's my sister? You just ate her blood tears. Just a heads up on that.
But he's wearing more clothes than she was,
I mean,
even though he was hurt a second ago.
Shut up, you 6-piece chicken McNobody.
Did we just okay? So like, Cassandra and I are apparently like recreating Teenage Dirtbag Baby in the chat. Did we just have any other like notable songs? Like, were they a one-hit wonder?
I don't even
That
think
counts as a hit.
Teenage Dirtbag was a hit. Yeah.
It was
I'm
on the
sorry.
radio
It
enough
was
for me to know
definitely
it.
a hit.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I can't think of a second
Neither
Weedus
can I.
song, so
There you go.
It was
Good enough.
definitely my favorite song on the radio at the time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
it's a good song.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Apparently, they did a cover of "A Little Respect" by Erasure.
Sure.
But no, one hit wonder.
Not exactly
Well,
approaching
I feel-
the cover status of Alien Ant Farm doing Smooth Criminal.
Right. It peaked at number 3 on the UK singles. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the Alien Ant Farm cover so much more than I like the Michael Jackson version. I know that's heresy. I don't give a fuck.
That's not heresy. There's a reason it was a big hit. Like it hit a note that we all
Are you
enjoy.
okay? Are you okay, Eddie?
No. I always feel bad calling a band a one-hit wonder because most of the bands I like have never had a radio hit. They just enjoy making music and like have fallen into a groove of, yeah, sure, every couple of years we'll put out an album and hopefully someone will like it. And
We're not a one-hit wonder. We're a 10-year failure.
yeah, I mean that's a mean way to put it, but yeah,
No,
basically.
that is a way that a band that I enjoy has put it in the past.
Oh, Real Big Fish.
It was either Real Big Fish or Less Than Jake.
There you go. Both of those bands
They're
I
the only two
genuinely
bands that you like.
No, not at all.
The implication there was great, though. It was one of these two bands. It had to be.
But like apparently the Dropkick Murphys are technically a one-hit wonder because the song that was in The Departed charted super huge for a little bit, and then they never had another one chart super huge. But who cares? That's the worst song on that album.
Oh, a lot of times you'll hit like that thing where it's like, oh, the hit single was the most dog shit thing they ever made.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
everything else I totally love. Like if you asked me to say what Dropkick Murphys' best song is, I would answer immediately with no hesitation, Famous for Nothing, because it fucking slapped.
I gotta say, yeah. I'll say this though. I think the worst Dropkick Murphys song is definitely "The State of Massachusetts."
Yeah, no, absolutely. That one, I definitely don't like that one.
But,
They've got "Time to Go," the song about like really liking the Bruins. I like that one a lot.
That one fucking slaps. I love that one. It
but
helps
yeah, like tons of
that the Bruins colors are black and gold, and when I was in college is when I discovered this band, and my college's colors were black and gold.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know, it worked out. Of course, our football team sucked ass, so no winners there.
You could just claim your hockey team was very good.
There you go. See, it works.
no one would check.
My college didn't even have a football team. Works out.
There you go. Even better. Because college
What I
football
would-
is kind of evil. I like NFL football. I will not watch college football. And I don't. That's not a moral judgment on anyone who does watch it. It's just, I feel
gotcha.
weird about it.
But yeah, what I was going to also say was that like, if you it's nice when people have hits because it means that they can afford to continue just doing music, but that is hardly the mark of success in any fashion.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Jeff Rosenstock has ever had a hit, but he makes it exactly enough to keep going.
But he makes good music.
When he's not making like cartoon soundtracks, which he did for several years.
With
It's most of his Wikipedia page.
He's crying the creek, he's goes.
Are you guys, obviously, Gogglebob, I'm not asking you in this instance, but are the rest of you familiar with Jonathan Colton?
Yeah.
Yes. Never liked him very much.
Hang on. There's a secondary question to that. Have you ever heard of Paul and Storm?
I think so.
No to both of those questions.
I was just laughing because how loud Chrome's was to me. It was like very important that
you were 1 year old when Jonathan Colton's like one thing that people know him for, if they aren't a fan, came out.
Oh God, was it really that long ago?
I just gotta say,
2007.
I am so fucking glad we have someone Chrome's age on this call because it provides valuable perspective.
to keep us cool.
No, not even keep us cool, just to remind us how uncool we are. That's important.
17 years ago when the Orange Box came out.
For $20 whole.
Well, okay, so the context there was the event that I was at over the weekend, he played at, and Paul and Storm were the openers, and one of the things that he was saying, now at this point, among my friend groups, it's like a household name. Realizing other people have never heard of him, it still boggles my mind, because there was somebody that was with us that didn't know who it was, and I'm like rattling off the names of a couple of songs. He's like, no, and I'm like, well, did you ever play Portal? No, maybe.
That came out when I was 5.
no, dude's in his 40s, but it was just one of those like. It was
You are
like
allowed to be a well-adjusted adult and not have played Portal. In fact, it's probably a sign of a truly healthy lifestyle.
He had played it though, and he didn't know the song.
It's good for him. I mean,
Well, it means he didn't finish the game. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
not everybody's into puzzle games.
I got nothing on that one.
Oh, Black Mage, no.
Yeah, why are you stabbing Black Mage to death?
Because they're in a tower and I gotta stab something.
Are you in a tower? I feel...
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I'm in a tower. It's like the Tower of Davius or something.
Anyway,
the total failure of aesthetic.
The point of that story was that, this is a big name within certain circles that I am in, and yet he stands up on the stage and he's like, I forget that some people, like, I guess he's not used to larger crowds knowing who he is.
I mean, that's
Yet
fair.
he has an entire fucking cruise dedicated to himself.
That's weird.
Listen, if I could have a cruise dedicated to me, I would take it too.
Yeah.
It would be weird if you didn't.
I'm into it. I mean, if somebody said, "Hey, Pete, you want a cruise? It's all about you," I would absolutely sign on the dotted line.
Can you imagine even worse?
And then you would start talking about like the performance at the Beat Cruise would just be him talking about Sonic the Hedgehog or Star Fox Command endings.
Star Fox, okay, Sonic the Hedgehog comes naturally. Star Fox Command Engine.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But if you had your own cruise, would you still be surprised when a room filled up with people waiting to see you on stage?
Kind of.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why do you people keep doing this? I would have thought that the information had reached out that this was a bad choice.
Yeah, like...
I like to think
if
that
I
it
had
would,
my
it
own
would freak
cruise-
Beat out even more than if it happened in a non-cruise situation.
It really would. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a glory hound, but like the idea of like a shitload of people just like knowing me would be weird, man. And I've had 4,000 Twitter followers, and I didn't like it. I'm over it. Don't want to do that again.
Twitter followers were in the same room.
I've had people who like have told me that I'm like the funniest guy they know, and that freaks me out a little bit. I've had people cite me as a funny person, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just some dude. What the fuck are you talking about? It's weird. I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Don't like it.
Exactly. It was exactly that. Okay, so, like, are you ever going to finish stabbing these black mages to death?
I mean, they're just the most recurring monster in this area, so you get
They're
ready
just
for a bunch
so
of them.
stabbable.
Yeah, they're like super into the whole being stabbed thing.
Did they consent?
I keep
They
watching.
lack,
like, your
they
campaign.
lack rational souls, so they cannot actually consent to anything. By the same token, they are annihilated on death. So
When I'm killed, I'm turned into a dog.
Oh God! All I can think of now, AV, is the time I tweeted. All right, so all Pokemon are obliterated upon death except Meowth, who's going to hell.
other Pokemon are incapable of sin. Meowth chooses sin.
They're also annihilated when you turn the game off. So
That's a kind of death.
That is a sort of death. I don't know who else here has read Kid Rad.
God.
I started.
I only read.
I was
Kids.
I was
literally
sending
read
someone a
them.
link to the
I play
archive
some-
earlier this month.
Okay, so fanboys in my corner on this one. Kid Rad is so much better than it has any fucking right to be, right? Like, it's a miracle that exists.
I needed to read it, but I started reading Hitman for Destiny first, so I never got around to it.
That sounds like some webtoon shit.
No, it's not a.
It's like some webtoon shit.
Okay, so Chromes, the good thing about Kid Rad is that you can absolutely finish it in an hour and some change. It is not long. It is very digestible. Why are you making a swastika gobble bob?
What? Oh,
It's probably a manji.
I'm American.
Yeah, it goes in the
Don't
other
know those.
direction.
Okay.
Don't think that's the right order.
I'll figure it out eventually.
Are you just
Not like
brute
this
forcing
game gives
this
you any
in real
clues.
time?
It broke me watching these sad little Funko Pops move around like these 9 square rooms.
Oh man, AV, you were not on the first stream, but back when we started this whole shit in 2020. But my God, World of Final Fantasy Maxima is it's like imagine, if you will, if like the head of Squaresoft and the head of Funko Pop just met each other, like, I guess at the midpoint between their main locations. So the Hawaiian Islands would probably be it. And just made out on the roof for 18 hours. That's what you would get.
Their eyes.
I like how
met.
that's only slightly more stupid sounding than where Kingdom Hearts actually came from.
They got an
They-
elevator.
eyes met across like the
Oh
Honolulu.
no, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts was
Honolulu
like, you know, there's some level of dignity about like being in the same elevator as a guy and going, hey, you work for Square, I work for Disney. Maybe we can do something with that. There is no shred of dignity in Final Fantasy Maxima, World of whatever the fuck. I've already
World of Final
forgotten.
Fantasy.
World of
Maxima, you
Final
got it
Fantasy
mostly right. All the right
Maxima
words
was the
found their way into
expansion.
that statement.
All of them found their way into that statement, and all of them were cursed.
Hey, that was a Vita game too.
Yeah,
here,
it was the home of a lot of dog shit.
The Vita was a place where good things go to die.
Wee Baby Ink, they told me not to. They told me I can't have you get 1 HP from eating dog doo doo.
And I was like, well, what if they eat a dead rat? No, that's still bad.
They had me over a barrel.
Like one of my all-time favorite Reddit posts. I think it was on an RBDSM. This is back when Something Awful was waging its like one-sided war of destruction against Reddit, and it's like RBDSM had a guy come in here and was, why did I make her eat the doo-doo? She loved me. She loved me, and I made her eat the doo-doo. And now she's gone forever. She left me, and she's never coming back. Why did I make her eat the doo-doo? He just keeps typing out. He just keeps describing it as making her eat the doo-doo.
I want to clarify what I was referencing. It's a podcast.
I don't care.
Loved it. Like, I love that.
No, I just wanted people to know.
Obviously, but like, no, just there are so many Reddits dedicated to just guys destroying their most cherished relationships in the stupidest ways imaginable.
Oh yeah.
Every Reddit is a monument to a different kind of failed relationship.
Oh, yes,
Every single one.
Every single one. No,
I love how you'll go
Some
to like
more obviously than others.
There's one was like am I overreacting? And it's like my boyfriend. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend threatened sewer slide. And like one, like Zoomers need prayer. Two, this girl, like absolutely a girl. Her boyfriend texted her, "It's like I'm out of cigarettes." It's like, oh, that sucks. You need to come to my apartment and bring me cigarettes. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna buy you I'm not gonna buy cigarettes and drive all the way to your apartment just to give you cigarettes. This is why no one cares about me. My entire life is just shit and no one cares. This is why I want to kill myself.
that's a bad relationship.
That's an
There are a lot of
extraordinarily
those
bad
on Reddit.
relationship.
Yeah, that's not a relationship. that's
Eventually,
needed.
like Reddit ran out of people having actual relationships and started just making up people to have bad relationships.
that's true.
90% of Reddit posts are just people like trying to flex the old creative writing muscles. And occasionally they're quite gripping until you stop yourself and go, oh, wait, this is bullshit.
This didn't happen.
Oh wait,
at all.
someone is trying to pretend that this was real instead of just saying like, yeah, here's the thing that I thought of that was funny.
Yeah.
Here's a guy
You're
I
absolutely-
thought of to get angry at. Like the greatest the greatest of internet what is it?
The guy
The
I
greatest of
made
internet
up
hobbies.
to get mad at.
You know
Although
what though?
I feel
Rage
sorry,
bait?
go on, maybe.
This leads us to the greatest the greatest invention in the history of medicine, which is the RNA vaccine, which makes up a guy for your body.
for your immune system to get mad at.
Yeah, absolute
No,
brilliance.
Based on a
I
real
feel,
guy.
AV, that there is like, okay, so like we all know about make up a guy to get mad at, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's an underrated secondary side to that. That is make up a guy to protect at all costs.
Oh, that's
I
just
read-
every bit of like begging the question and concern trolling in human history.
Oh,
No, no,
absolutely. but-
making up a guy to protect at all costs. All costs. I've been living in New
All
York. It's
costs.
fucking
All
all costs. We got to protect this
All
guy at all
costs.
costs. Is the United Healthcare shooter? We all
That is-
invented a version of this guy, and we decided no, I will die before I let anything befall this man. And
We
the
all
only
did.
people in America who didn't do
Yeah.
that all worked at the same McDonald's.
In Altoona,
Oh my
of all
God.
places.
No, but the version of that I ran headfirst into a few months ago was somebody was like saying the whole thing started because somebody apparently almost drank a Coke, what they thought was a Coke Zero, but was actually a Jack Daniels and Coke. And I am not kidding when I say that Jack Daniels was the largest print anybody has ever seen. just incredibly like visible. Like you would have
I
to.
can't
be an
have made a
idiot.
foolish decision. I have to make this someone else's problem.
Yeah, so like they were saying, well, I feel like this was not properly labeled. And I'm like, okay, sure, alcoholic beverages should absolutely be labeled. That's totally a non-issue. That fucking said, I do not know how they could have made Jack Daniels any bigger while it still fit on the can. And I immediately got people in my replies telling me, well, what about like Amish people who are like doing their like time in a like, regular world? They
What
wouldn't
about
necessarily know what
Amish
Jack Daniels
people?
is, and I'm like, motherfucker, I think those Amish people are looking to get shit faced. That's 90% of what they do in their time, like in society.
It's like
What about the
sometimes you just get asked a question so stupid, and you just want to like look them in the eye and be like, what if you put a trumpet up to your butt cheeks and farted perfectly? Would it play the trumpet?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if the world was made of pudding? You don't know.
What? How do you determine
Mr. Sid baby questions.
Trumpet.
How do you determine the perfect fart?
I feel like there are 4
Intensity.
criteria: loudness,
Yes.
duration,
Yep.
intensity, which that's very important.
Only the
Because
fart.
a loud fart and an intense fart are very different things.
What is
But
the
one can be both and one can be neither.
I think
Absolutely.
it has to be based on the mechanic playing a
And
trumpet.
the final,
You would
the
also
final
have to
one is
do
the
that
stank.
one.
Obviously, like we need it. It can't be a fart without the stank.
You see, I think the perfect fart is stenchless.
Dude,
I think-
Hey, see, but
Ever
that is
had a
still that's
non-stinky
still a
fart?
criteria, right? Because that means the stank value is 0.
Yeah, okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
See, I feel like the Diet Coke fart is leads us to the platonic form of the fart because
okay, all right.
it
I'm picking up
goes
what
off like a firecracker, and it shakes you. It shakes the farter to their very core.
you're
But
saying.
it is propelled. It is propelled by an utterly inoffensive gas. Like it contains nothing. It is forgotten instantly.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
it's just this momentary perfection.
Right. It's the the perfect fart is one that is like just powerful, but odorless.
Yeah.
So like you get all the embarrassment of the fart, but none of the like lingering after effects.
Exactly.
What an intellectual discussion.
We are
It's like,
we are
so tired.
fucking Socrates and Aristotle.
I
over
was
here.
about to say that
Fucking
this is truly like, the mind
You're playing
come
man.
together.
What the
and
fuck do you
agree.
expect from us?
No, it is the candle lantern. It is that it's the floating candle lantern of a fart. It's not. It does not cling to you like a revengeful ghost.
There you go.
I don't question the shopkeeper's dancing, but I do question like whatever the fuck your character's like neutral stance is.
He's
I
just
mean, I don't
bobbling.
think it's
He's-
supposed to be
he's wiggling.
that zoomed in as it is. Like,
He's
He's
just
just
breathing
wiggling
really
constantly in a way that's really off-putting.
so
Even
instantly, for
Mario
those of
had
you paying
funny.
attention, I had to leave the dungeon because I ran out of Mattox.
You ran out of what?
Mattox, the stupid thing used to
Oh,
break walls.
of course, goddamn pickaxes, because they didn't fix this problem.
You could use them more immediately. That is good.
Is it?
You know what would have been more fun? Just give you a permanent one.
You do get one eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually. In the fullness of time.
In the fullness of time, yes. You get a morning star and you can just blast walls with it.
For some reason, Twitch is giving me a For You panel. Games Done Quick is doing something. That's cool.
Like a Spotify
Yeah,
rap.
that's gonna be in like a month.
Why is
Uh,
level 26 labeled good?
But
Because
also,
that's my current
status.
status, yeah.
but also it's giving me a bunch of recommended channels, and all of them are playing Marvel Rivals, which is a game
All of
I
mine are
thought
playing Overwatch 2.
which is a game
That's the
I
same
thought
game.
looked uniquely hideous. So I'm shocked that like I keep seeing people say, "Oh, it looks really good." That's strange to me. I don't understand where they're coming from with this.
But also, yes, Twitch has like a rap style thing.
It feels like
Oh yeah, I
everything
got
is doing
that
a
as well,
Spotify
and
rap.
it was bad.
Goggle Bob is the most consistent channel that I have watched all year. Congratulations. One of my other friends is like, "How did I make it onto this list?" And I was like, "Apparently, I only watch 5 channels."
Did I make the list? Yeah, I guess I would have when I was doing Bomb Rush. I guess that would be it.
Hold on.
I use Streamlink to watch, so I'm not sure if it would catch my watching.
It's entirely
Yeah, I'll
possible.
just post this here.
All right, let me see here. Open browser. All right. Gogglebob, Ass
Hey,
Wheels,
hey.
Vita State, Calscrub, and Hensboog. All excellent people. Except Ass
Agreed.
Wheels. Fuck that guy.
Rude.
Nah, I love Wheels. I ever tell you guys about the time I spent like 3 years of my life writing questions for Wheels column?
It has
Nice.
come up,
It was
but
there when it happened.
it doesn't mean you
Yeah.
can't say it again.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time I spent 3 years putting wheels in my butt?
I never did that.
That doesn't have anything to do
that's
with
the plot
is
of
at all.
I think that's the plot of the song one piece at a time.
Holy shit, you're right.
One piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime.
Fuck, I love that song.
It's so good.
That's a great novel. That's like
Oh,
one of
no,
the
it's a
all-time great
fantastic
novelty
one.
songs.
Yeah.
Truly. No, Johnny Cash, undefeated novelty song.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
It did that, and A Boy Named Sue.
He also
he
did
did-
the Man Who Couldn't Cry, which the top 10 songs for me. I'm honestly saying.
Yeah,
no, he did. He did some really like his 50s, 60s period. He was just knocking them out. Like,
I
Oh,
will
yeah.
state that one of my biggest problems with that what was his biopic Ring of Fire, I think, was that they made
Yeah,
like everything
Joaquin
he
Phoenix, I
did so
think.
like deathly serious, and it was like, dude,
I think that was Walk the Line.
That was
Walk the Line. That's what it
Yeah.
was. But it,
Yeah, no,
But
I
yeah,
think
like
this was a guy who
the
was
thing
having
is
fun.
that like the popular perception of retrospective Cash stuff is always like the most dark, dour, and serious, and it's like a lot of his stuff is pretty
I mean,
pretty goofy. I mean,
Boy
like you
Named
brought up
Sue
Ring
was
of
my
Fire, and
first.
that's not exactly that's not a goof song like say One Piece at a Time, but it is not like a dour song either.
yeah. No,
The Man
think
Who Couldn't
a lot of
Cry
people think
is
about,
actually
like,
very funny.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
the Johnny Cash of the 2000s is definitely a man who's
Like,
very
because
dark.
it's a guy reflecting at the end of a long and often
A
difficult
very
life.
long life.
Yeah.
Like, the Johnny Cash in the 2000s, which is like, when most people in our
That's her
generation
era.
found out about him. That was very dark.
Yeah.
But it made a certain amount of sense that it would be very dark. You're allowed to be very dark when you are 73 years old and being like, yeah, I'm probably going to die in the next 2 years. And I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah. I've buried a lot of friends. And
I'm probably going to die soon, and I'm not okay with that, but I've accepted it.
yeah. And don't forget, he was preceded in death by his wife, which is
So, like,
His
absolutely
very
true.
long-term wife in that case.
a down.
Yeah, June Cash, who was his, who literally kept him upright through big chunks of his life.
Oh, yeah.
No, and
And generally speaking, statistically, men do not go on to outlive their wives much longer.
Frankly,
Women-
I'm counting on
I
that.
think we know.
I don't think Beat wants to see what that road looks like.
I'm trying to see.
Right,
here.
which is fine. I'm just
I've
just
had
in
that
general.
nightmare.
Women
I've
on
had
the
that
other
nightmare where I'm just trying to put my life together, like in a post my wife world, and it's not. It's ugly. It's not good.
I
don't
understand
like
what
it.
you're
It
saying
doesn't
is
voice
very
my wife.
serious, but identifying it as a post my wife world sounds like
I'm not saying her fucking name on stream.
no,
fuck
no,
you.
but I understand.
She deserves
You
that.
don't need
privacy.
to
She
have
deserves
the.
that privacy.
I am just saying that a post my wife world sounds like a weird Reddit
My wife,
post.
my wife, my wife, my wife.
Ooh, here we go. Yeah, of course. As we all know,
Hey,
the
Screaming
last
Red Skull.
the last surviving highwayman is Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would have bet on there, but I guess Willie Nelson is as good a bet as any.
So when the apocalypse happens, it'll be Willie Nelson. Oh my God, why am I
Again.
blanking on his name right now?
Can't wait to get on the road again. Laugh out love is making
should have
me
thought of this
drink
before I
with my
started.
friends. I can't wait to get on the road again.
Always think of your punchline before you start the joke. That's
You
very
gotta start
Right,
with punchline.
need to work on
Why are
this.
you fighting a squid in a robe?
I'm fighting a mind
that-
flayer. Come on, this is a basic D&D here.
You're fighting fucking Rusty from Squidbillies.
No, I
fighting
gotta
Early
go with mind
Kyler.
players being recognizable.
I'm fighting a Splatoon.
I would be like thrilled if there was like a context where you could play it with Splatoon that looked like that.
One Splatoon.
Two would be thrilled.
I'm so
Remember, like
tired right
ages ago,
now.
somebody made like a tier list of which Smash Bros. Characters were racist, and Splatoon, all of them were just in openly racist tier.
Yeah, no, that's
I mean,
100% part of the
Because they
that's
are
part of the
literally-
plot of Splatoon.
Yeah, no, they're literally having a race war of their octopus brethren.
No, man.
The thing that's great about it is that they also don't actually know what octopuses look like.
That's grim.
It's just like I was told we were fighting octopuses. We're mostly just practicing for when we want to fight octopuses. And then like one of the biggest fucking like idols in the world is just an octopus. And it's just like, oh, that's a weird looking squid.
Well, legitimately, there does seem to be a
Okay, Bob, why are their finger like icons appearing in the middle of the
because
screen?
I
they're
accidentally hit the
emulating Vita
touch
touchscreen.
ability. Yeah, I didn't even realize I could do that.
Right, the Vita. This was a Vita game, wasn't it?
Vita
It
has
It's
was
a
also a
available
mobile
on it.
phone game.
It was also on an iOS and Android. I don't know if it's still available for either of those platforms. I would be willing to bet no.
I'm betting no as well.
Yeah,
I did not know Vita had a touch screen.
It has
It had
a
a
back
touch screen
touchpad
and a
as well.
touchpad back.
It's so
Oh.
bad.
the
it's
brother's
so
name is
obnoxious.
Lester. That's cool.
Lester.
Super Lestero brothers.
Did you just
So how do you
notice?
use the touch screen on PSTV?
That's what I just did by accident.
Oh.
Yeah, but did you? I think Case was asking how you did it.
Yeah, well, give me a
Is
second.
there a
I'll get back to
touchpad
it.
on the controller?
No, I'm definitely just playing with a PS3.
You can play it with
controller.
a DualShock 3. It's the problem.
Ah.
I'm trying to remember what the button combination is. All right, so there
Probably
we go.
involves L2 and R2.
I'm assuming, but I'm gonna test it in a moment.
Lester and not Luigi, huh?
Lester the Unlikely.
He is unlikely.
Oh, good, you received the Book of Silence. Yeah, L3 and R3, and now I can.
So
But
my wife
pretend
sent
I have a
me
screen.
my wife sent me a screen cap from Facebook. Let me see if I can't find it here.
Keith
Here it
Richards,
is.
by the way. I finally
Here it is.
remember.
What a busy month it's been. Special thanks to Luigi Mangione for your help on December 4th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. What a long shift to never leave our site, not even once to use the bathroom. Customers really enjoyed your catchphrase, "I'll never go to NYC." And the only thing I hate more than hoods on jackets is guns. Very weird thing to say constantly all day, but also very funny. Put on a shirt, you goof.
Amazing. I don't think I understand, but I'm okay with it.
Dun, dun, dun,
I
dun.
understand.
It is an establishment of an alibi.
Yeah,
And
that's the joke is establishment of an alibi, and the reason
That's
I'm humming that is that it is a Chuck Mangione song.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. No, the
Feels so
Mangione,
good, which shows up many times throughout King of the Hill.
it just keep like my favorite. It feels so good. A joke is when Chuck Mangione starts playing taps at a funeral, and like 6 notes in, it just goes into feels so good.
The Cotton's funeral, right?
Yep.
For a long time, I only knew it as a Doc Future song.
It's a legitimately extremely pleasant sort of song to just have going in the background.
No, it is. So it's a banger.
We appreciate radio friendly jazz fusion.
We do. You know who I love? I love Herb Alpert and his Tijuana Brass.
Damn right you do.
Oh god, that just reminds me of like one of those early Simpsons jokes that I missed when they dropped, was just like, oh, Homer's not just dumb, but he has like the worst taste in anything you can ever imagine. And so it's like stuff like, oh, the only songs that like oh, of course Homer knows the lyrics to the vocal version of Spanish
It was a
Flea.
little Spanish.
Oh, God,
flea.
yeah.
Spanish Flea, a rector he thought he'd be.
The Chipmunks
There was a
see
period-
TV.
Why not a little Spanish Flea?
Yeah.
But there was a period that's fun in those early seasons where like Homer and Marge are very clearly children of the 60s and 70s, so it's like, oh, they like shit like fucking Tom Jones and BJ Thomas and that sort of stuff, and it's like, oh, that's charming. I miss when they were allowed to have a specific time that they came from.
I don't think anyone involved in that show thought that they would be put into a Tibetan
Oh, obviously not.
bardo of just endless wealth fountaining out of their servitude to this never-ending show.
It still feels weird to see them use cell phones.
Oh yeah,
Agreed.
and they've been using cell phones since you were born.
It doesn't make it any less weird.
Yeah, because they're clearly like, even if you aren't from the time they're clearly referencing, it's obvious they're unstuck from time.
Yeah.
Certain things.
Isn't Yeardley Smith? Okay, Yeardley Smith is 60 goddamn years old.
And I think she's the youngest of them.
Yes, like didn't one of them obviously multiple.
Like Julie
cast members,
Kavner's voice is obviously dying.
Yes.
Yeah, you can only do
Julie
Marge
Kavner
for so many
is-
years.
Like Marge is definitely a voice that you pick when you think you'll be doing this voice for a season or two instead of 30 goddamn years.
The Duckman curse.
Poor
Like
Jason.
fucking Jason Alexander, a real trooper, but obviously did not think, oh god, I'm going to be doing this voice constantly.
Yeah.
Remember the Duckman video game for your personal computer?
Of course not.
I try not to.
I try to remember good things.
We gotta start
I can't remember bad
imagining
things.
I'm imagining a world where you just see that on a shelf next to like the Homie the Clown game.
Hope we don't play that. I will still never forget the one day in Atlantic City, New Jersey, just on the street, there was a guy wearing a Homie the Clown t-shirt in, like, 2012.
I assume that must have been like a bootleg or something. There's no way that they were still producing them.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't they were still producing them, but it's entirely possible this was just a guy who had not updated his t-shirt wardrobe in a few years.
Decades.
T-shirts don't last forever.
I mean, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, like he'd have to have preserved that.
I mean, I've definitely got some shirts that might be older than Chrome's.
Leave me
My
alone.
the one thing I can say regarding Homie the Clown t-shirts is that like the one shirt that I know for a fact my father ever loved was his Homie the Clown t-shirt. He was actually heartbroken when it ripped.
Oof.
Big oof.
Yeah.
Amusingly enough, my dad bought me Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Christmas one year at my request. And he got
He
it.
took the t-shirt that came with it.
He took the t-shirt that came with it, yes. But the joke is that I asked him for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and then being vaguely capricious, like 9, 10-year-old, however old I was when Sonic 2 came out, I then changed my mind to Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. And
That's a last moment change.
yeah, well, I mean, I was a kid. It was just kind of like,
That's
oh,
not
well.
even a bad game. I'm just baffled.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had rented Sonic 2, and I hadn't yet played Hyperstone Heist, and it was...
And you played Turtles in Time.
well, yes, but I did not realize
You
that...
had no way of knowing at the time that they were almost the same.
Exactly. Like, I just saw that it looked like that, and I could play it at home, so I was excited for it. But, yeah, so I had him change it, and he did, but, of course, he didn't return the t-shirt. Like, so... Just for ages, my dad would wear as like a sleep shirt a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Are you up to it? T-shirt.
I'm glad that it was like sized to fit a grown man.
Oh, it was sized to fit a grown man who lived on nothing but Burger King. It was like the biggest
Like,
shirt.
yeah,
that
that's the
existed.
thing. It's like if you're just including a shirt with something, your safest bet is to include one that is for the very largest part of your audience. And so, like, you can end up with some shirts that, like, I've gotten some shirts with video games that I could not wear in a million years. They're huge.
When I will never not take a moment to say this. When I won my local Star Fox competition, I won a T-shirt that easily I could have like used as a tent when I went home.
Yeah.
I remember getting like the special like Persona 4 tchotchke pack that was sold at Amazon for like 3 weeks in 2008, and it came with a shirt that like I don't know if there was any sort of sizing information on it, but it could not have been any less than a 4XL.
Well, you know, it's like this was because we had just come out of the 70s and 80s when they would make children's shirts for children's events that were children's sized. And speaking as a a morbidly obese yet also just like outsized child, like I was like 4'8" in the 3rd grade,
like just a large boy.
person.
just an enormous child. Maybe I was straight up 5. I can't remember. I was giant. And like I just remember over and over again going to children's things and being like, "Oh, let's try a bigger size. Let's try a bigger size. Let's try." No, child, you are too fat to wear any of these commemorative shirts. You will wear.
You will never be allowed to remember this event in any way other than being shamed for your body.
Yeah. Aside from this lingering disgrace, all other trace of this will be eliminated from your history. You get to go through the rest of the day wearing the off-colored grown-up T-shirt of shame.
And so you end up with this thing where it's like, yeah, no, I understand why the selection was to just make something that like it was as large of a T-shirt as you could feasibly order.
But
Yeah,
when
exactly. It's
Sonic
like
2 came out,
everyone looked
video
around and
games
said,
were
"We're on
still
the
considered to
societal
be for
track that will
kids only."
someday deliver unto us the Rizzler. We must make ready. We must make straight the path of the Rizzler. I am a voice crying out in the wilderness, warning you that someday a morbidly obese New Jersey child will be
Great is
the king
the path
of
and
your
narrow
culture."
is the riz.
Oh, as a wise woman once said, "That's me, espresso." I'll be back.
Espresso.
And I will state that the opposite of this was when I remember it was my freshman year of college because I was like the poorest I had ever been. I got some extra Christmas money and I decided to spend it on the They Might Be Giants website.
Oh god.
And I bought a couple of CDs and you got a free T-shirt with that, which I was very happy about. And I am not exaggerating. They sent me with my They Might Be Giants order, and I literally checked to make sure the whole thing was in my name, that maybe they misunderstood or something. It came with like a ladies' small T-shirt, and like I'm not a big guy, but I'm not gonna fit in a ladies' small T-shirt. And I had actually hung out with her like last month, so she's still a friend, who is like 5'0" and like has always been generally small, and I'm like, "Do you like They Might Be Giants?" And she's like, "Kinda." And I'm like, "Okay, I have a T-shirt that will fit you. Here you go. Please enjoy." But I'm still amazed that They Might Be Giants of all bands was like, probably our fans are small women.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Like, they're the ones listening to the Birdhouse in Our Soul.
Not to put too fine a pine on it. Say only
All right,
be
I have
your
placed
like a little
my
bird
order for my
keep your
parents' Christmas presents. Would you like to know what I got them?
Sonic the
This-
Hedgehog.
Obviously, this is much more interesting than
A Sonic the Hedgehog 2 T-shirt.
Oh God, no!
I'm going to say matching his and hers kiddie pools that they can both just hang out in and talk to each other.
Still no.
That's
Well,
not
then I have no idea.
My mom has
I
gotten
just-
Wheel by Laura Stevenson and on
Oh,
vinyl,
nice.
and also Toxicity by System of a Down.
She needs to understand her son.
My dad gets Gord's Gold by Gordon Lightfoot on vinyl. They have a record player now, and they absolutely love that shit, so I always get them records, yes?
Yeah, I remember you got them a nice.
And also
set of
Enter the
records
Wu-Tang,
last
36 Chambers.
year. Hell yeah. Cash rules everything.
Yay.
I will
I
say that
enjoy-
weirdly enough,
I enjoy giving them both one album that they like and one album I like every time. And every time I go to their house, I put on the album that I like on their record player.
Have they ever liked any of them?
They did not hate. Which one fucking was it? Shoot. They actually enjoyed most of album minus band, which is surprising to me. I mean, it's a very good album. What was the other one? I think that they just sort of accepted Troublemaker.
Okay.
Just, you know, certain things come with, like, you know, being the parents to me.
I was gonna say, Troublemaker would remind them of their child, for obvious reasons.
That it would, obviously.
Well, let's talk about gifts for a minute. Because we had a Secret Santa for work.
That's a bad idea.
I was gonna say, that's always horrible.
Yeah. And we did our exchange today. And I generally don't participate in these kind of things. Because I have enough trouble getting gifts for people I know, never mind people I've never met before. And honestly, I didn't have a problem with the person that I had to gift for. But the person who got me, now the rules were, you have to have it delivered. It's got to be $25 or less. And it has to arrive by today's date. And
I mean, at that point, I would just go to a dollar store and buy one of those coffee mugs full of candy.
No, that's an excellent choice.
Nice. And we filled out a little bit of a survey that was like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite smell?
What's your favorite smell? Diet Pepsi farts.
It's like, oh man.
I mean, what's your favorite candy? Like, because we live all over the country.
My favorite candy, also Pepsi farts.
Both those things, obviously.
They sell them at the Jersey Shore.
They sell them at those weird candy stores where you can still get like Chick-a-Stick. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So we go to all this effort of filling out this whole thing, and the person who got me sent me a $20 Amazon gift card.
That was very nice of them.
Was it your favorite color?
I'm the only person on our team that doesn't have an Amazon account.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna give it to my parents. That's not an issue. But it also, like, it was $20, and the limit was $25, so I'm a little annoyed about that part, too. Like, if you're gonna do that, and there's no shipping fee involved...
I was about to say the $5 for shipping.
I'm not trying to be mean, but just take the win. Buy yourself
the whole
I don't
thing,
know, a bag full of jelly beans or something.
The whole thing was that we had to sit on camera in a team meeting to open these things.
Oh, God.
Oh.
And then
Wow, this sounds like it's like designed to make
like
people
torture.
insane.
They came back to me twice because they forgot I already went because I just held up a gift card.
Lordy.
This
They were
sounds
like, "Oh, did you go?" And I was like, "Yes, we've already been through." Because it actually.
Fuck! I should have gotten my dad to Distillers. What was I thinking?
Oh no.
Whatever. It's fine.
I like
Nah,
how this whole
you'll
thing can be
appreciate what
described
he's
as Kafka-esque.
No.
But anyway, yeah, it's been a weird day. That was after all the other crap that happened.
Which will not be repeated because, we are not like private right now. We are streaming to the whole world.
Right? Which is why that was the part that I could publicly talk about. That I've been waiting like an hour to say. I legit was about to bring it up when we started this stream and then just gave up.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got distracted by the initial thing.
Tiny object syndrome is real. But also board gaming convention for the weekend, so that was fun.
Other than the weird Japanese thing that you can no longer buy, like, did you see any other fun board games?
It's not that you can no longer buy it. So they have a whole section of first look stuff that was like recently released overseas and unpublished stuff. So this was in that section, and it just means usually it's not for sale here yet. So one of my buddies got something from the UK. He was like, the game was $15, but the shipping was $20. I'm like, well, that's a thing that happens. But anyway, I'm sure I can find an equivalent more locally. Because, 6-year-old, she's not going to know the difference.
Here's that game we played at that place. No, it isn't. I took a picture.
Literally, I could just pick up some small dowels, cut them up, or, cut up dowels into the same size. She won't know the difference.
I got you sticks. They're not from the yard.
I love sticks.
I mean, I would have been happy to get sticks as a kid.
I'm searching for the phrase "them booty cheeks" and
Very
find
true.
the clip of Thugnificent yelling "booty, booty, ba-booty, ba-booty, butt cheeks."
That's a beautiful sentence. Okay, so Cassangelin, before I excuse myself for a moment there, you were talking about Christmas gifts, right? So my wife demands I put together an Amazon list so that people know what to give me for Christmas, and I'd be just like, whatever, I don't care. So I just went on there and like, what's something I wouldn't mind? I haven't bought the Boxers physical volumes yet. I guess I'll put that on there, right? A few days later, we go out for dinner with two of her friends, right? And, it's just like a normal family, friends dinner, whatever. And they hand us their Christmas presents. We hand them our Christmas presents to them. I open mine up, and it is the first 3 volumes of the Boxer. And these things are pristine. They are absolutely gorgeous, full-color volumes. And I'm like, holy shit. And they're like, yeah, what even was that thing I was buying on Amazon? I'm like, it's this comic about a boxer, and it's also about how God loves you. And they're like, oh, so that's why the T's a crucifix. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. It doesn't really hide that.
I don't even know the context for that, but you're a terrible liar.
I'm just saying, like, my wife maybe put together a list, and I got a whole bunch of comics because of it, because I did not think she was sharing this with other people. I thought she was just telling me, give me stuff to get you for Christmas, you asshole.
Yeah, I love the visual effect they have in the Boxer. Like whenever someone gets punched in the face really hard, and they just visualize it as like an empty space where your eye used to be.
yeah, that's great.
It's like, holy shit, he got fucked up.
I quickly flipped through it just to show them that one panel.
Nice.
The entirety of the final chapter of Volume 1 is just like these kids that thought they were having a fight in the playground, just getting absolutely fucked up. But the panel of Ryu being like, do I still have an eyeball there? I don't know. It's just perfect.
Something
So
to look
fucking
into.
Something to examine further. So you're fighting this dude with like a ball and chain?
Yeah, this is where I get to replace the Mattock finally. Once I get that ball and chain in my hands, life is good.
So
All I can think of is the Offspring song, Me and My Old Lady.
I understand why.
Everybody's got something to hide, except for me and my monkey.
I told my friend about this terrible failure of the Secret Santa situation, and she shipped me some stuff. So, like a couple days later, I get a candle, some Reese's peanut butter Christmas trees, a string of lights, and Lego flowers.
All right.
I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That's a weird combination, but that's pretty cool.
I told someone I didn't know what they should get me for Christmas, and they elected Donald Trump.
Oh.
Oh God.
Last
sorry,
Christmas.
No.
Woof.
Sorry about that.
Why are you still
Well,
playing?
yeah, that's a gift that's not just for you. It's for
I mean, we're almost
everybody.
up to Dark
That's true.
Lord.
Why would I care about that?
It's the gift that keeps on giving it to you.
We want to beat the Dark Lord.
Why?
Because he kidnapped girl. Gog.
Kidnapped girl.
Wait. Is that the girl who has the Gorgon blood, or?
No, we killed her.
No.
She wasn't
Are you,
important.
are you really gonna subject us to Secret of Mana next week?
I mean, next week is our special Christmas issue.
I just
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
I thought we
I
had
don't know if that means
negotiated
yes
not
or
having
no.
to do. I'm just saying, I thought we had negotiated that we would not have to do 2 weeks of these like utterly vapid remakes.
I don't think we negotiated that at all.
I recall having this discussion several times.
I mean,
Guys,
I
I
don't
will.
even know why you wanted to do this.
I mean, the reason you recall that is because I will state again that this draws into like stark contrast the difference between this and Secret of Mana, which like has its own weird problems, which we will cover.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, this and Secret of Mana Remake have essentially the exact same set of problems.
Yeah, no, I disagree because Secret of Mana has all new problems.
Like,
Like,
I think
they're
they're
similar.
both mostly
They're
rooted in
similar
Secret of
problems.
Mana itself having all new problems.
True. But one way or another, there are different problems. Let's put it this way. And then Trials of Mana is like an entirely different game from its original version.
Screaming Red Skull says, this looks like a Legend of Zelda style Final Fantasy game, and I can't unsee it no matter how many times I look at the stream title.
I mean, that's literally what they're attempting.
Yeah, that was really what they were going for in every conceivable way.
Unfortunately. Also, like I mentioned, Calscope, you mentioned how the boxer shows people like getting absolutely destroyed. I just put one in the general chat. I love that. I love that
I
panel.
love the general chat, folks.
It's supposed to be an eyeball?
He does not.
That's supposed to represent the impact of being punched at that part of the face really,
Mhm.
really hard.
Yeah. Having been punched in the face a few times, I'd say it gets the point across.
I can't say I've ever had the pleasure, but I'll take your word for it.
You should. I'm reasonably trustworthy.
I thought you were saying I should get punched in the face, and I was gonna. I'm real concerned about
Obviously,
that.
I'm
Guess
not
what
gonna
you're
say
getting
that.
for Secret Santa?
Violence.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about the first volume of the Boxer, but I don't know if like spoilers are.
No,
fair game.
dude, I am right here with you.
Yeah, it's like so like what is it? It almost like seems to like to sort of this guy that just got obliterated. Like it seems to build him up as maybe like, oh, this is like the rival character that the main character will have to work through the whole series to overcome, right? Like it sort of seems like it's heading that way, and then no, he just kicks the shit out.
Yeah. Yeah, the boxer
he was
really
like-
plays fast and loose with the idea of a protagonist because the main character is definitely you, but every single arc has its own protagonist, and none of them are you. It's one of the things I love about it. Because like every single chapter, every single like arc is just we're going to like be introduced to this character. We're going to find out what makes them tick, and we're going to like learn their entire life story. And then they're going to fight you, and you is their final boss, one way or another.
Mhm.
And like you is the main character. He's the guy who's there from start to end. But
Oh,
he's
not
never
you.
the protagonist until the very end, at which point he actually wants something. Because for the most part, he's just sort of like living life on autopilot. He doesn't have any like
He's
He has
just like
no
a force of nature.
yeah, he has no self-actualization. So as a result, he has no like he doesn't really even think of himself as a person. He's just a hunk of violent meat that like somebody else is just like just throwing against other people. And all he does is like, well, it's my job, so I guess I'll kill this motherfucker. he doesn't act like a human being, which, comes at a great cost to him personally. But everybody else's story is entirely what happens when they run into this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool in that way. I like it a lot.
Nice.
So how did the wrecking ball work in the Game Boy version, Gogglebot? 'Cause I don't believe you
Exactly
got
like
that.
this. Like, there was very little change.
That seems bad.
Like, it just, all these different weapons were just kind of kind of excuses to have a slightly different attack. Like, the Morning Star swings around in a circle, the sickle swings around, well, the Morning Star swings around in a circle and then hits. The sickle just swings around in a circle. The
My favorite thing about how the Morning Star sucks is its hit detection still sucks in this version, it looks like.
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Fanboy, you're so far away.
What's that?
Yeah, Fanboy, did you change your microphone or something?
You're so
Why
Oh,
is
close.
this
I had it moved away from my mouth.
Were you eating a burrito?
No, I did that earlier.
He was distancing
I
himself
heard.
from the horror on display.
As one should. As one damn well should.
I'm
Why
not
is this
fucking hanging on every word that happens in goddamn Adventures of Mana.
Neither is anyone else.
I'm so unhappy at the fixing the hit detection was the one thing this could have unequivocally claimed it could have done, and I just keep looking at this mace spectacularly missing.
Not even just a little.
It clearly goes halfway through something's head before it realized, oh, maybe it hit that.
I don't know.
Can't make me care.
I wonder if this falls under Kane's, purview of preserving old games.
No, it doesn't, because they made it look like shit. They thank God, if we, actual preservation of the original Final Fantasy adventure exists. It's Collection of Mana on the Switch.
I mean,
that is
eventually,
just
it
the
did
old
not
game.
exist at this time, to be clear.
Yeah, but there was no reason they couldn't have done here too. Oh, I'm just upset.
I mean,
upset
there was.
at this.
I will say that there was the longest time where it seemed like they would legitimately never re-release a Game Boy game. Anything
And
that
then
was.
we got Collection of Mana and Collection of Saga.
Yeah, and also just in general, Metroid 2 was completely inaccessible for years and years in every
for that
conceivable
3DS
way.
version.
Yes, which
There was
eventually.
the 3DS Game Boy Virtual Console.
Yes. But just and even weird stuff like the Mario Land titles, you never saw those until finally Game Boy was
3DS.
released out. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad that the Game Boy and the Super Mario Land is available on Switch Online now, because that was the first, probably the first video game I ever played on a friend's Game Boy in a car ride when I was 4.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And that's the thing, is that, even these games that's oh, nobody's going to want to play a Game Boy game. These are games that
That's
are important to
foolishness.
people.
And that's why, I bristle at this, because, I'm meaner about this than I would be a lot of other things, because this is it's the original game without the semblance of historical importance.
I'm gonna walk into this with a completely unrelated question.
Do it.
Please do.
Remember when erasable pens were a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't work too well.
Yes. They were terrible.
Yeah, I was thinking about those the other day because it was oh yeah, those were a thing, because somebody asked me about oh, you wrote that in pen, now it'll never go away again. It's well, let me tell you about a story long gone.
Ernest P. Worrell with a story and a moral.
I remember people that had erasable pens, but they said, "Oh, if it once it dries, it's not erasable anymore." So what's even the point of that?
I was
They're
gonna say,
not very good. I love how that vine being climbable does not read at all as well as it did on a Game Boy.
No, it does not. Well, even the collapsible bridge that we
Why did
dealt
this
with a
just
moment
suddenly
ago.
kind of turn isometric for no reason?
Why wouldn't it?
Because there was no reason to do it in the first place.
it's been sporadically doing that, like when chopping the tree.
Like someone just decided that the game simply wasn't hard enough to control.
Every time I like turn my attention back to the stream, I just become sad. like this is depressing.
This game becomes like we're gonna keep referencing, like me and Gogglebob will keep referencing forward to it. This game becomes retroactively sadder with the existence of the Trials of Mana remake, which actually does make like meaningful changes to the function of the game that it's remaking.
Well, I will state again that this is
like,
fascinating because this is the second remake. Like they tried remaking it and then they were like,
It's kind of the third
No.
actually, because there was the feature phone one in Japan.
okay,
That
yes.
That doesn't fucking count. No, the thing that I think of when I look at this abomination, this pox upon our wretched and horrible world, is a YouTube project by a dude whose channel name is Rowan Link. And he's basically recreating Ocarina of Time in Unreal Engine with like all the bells and whistles and like all these ridiculous tricks. But like, one, he's not doing it as like this is what the game should be. He's doing it like as a personal art project to like, build on his Unreal like engine skills. And two, he always like looks at like what he's making and says, okay, so this is obviously like the result of engine limitations and like hardware limitations. What would this look like today? And in what ways could we iterate upon this? And so like instead of invisible walls off in the distance, he has the clouds from the like map in the pause menu as like the impenetrable barrier off in the distance. Just because he feels like that's a really cool visual effect. Those are the sorts of things that this should have been doing. This is a fucking PlayStation 4 game, technically.
I mean,
Not this shit.
it's a Vita mobile game. Like,
You're playing this on your PS TV.
yeah, which is not PlayStation 4.
Is there a PS4 version?
No.
No, I mean,
Really?
there's a
Is it?
reason I have
Huh.
to play this on the PS.
This was an like I was ranting to you about consumptive remakes, and like
Yeah,
this
no, I'm
was,
still thinking about that. Honestly, I can't get that out of my head. Which
and
makes me
this
angry.
was like fully just like this was almost an attempt at that, and ultimately what it did was like the other thing that can happen with this kind of remake is that it is instantly forgotten, instantly left behind because it simply doesn't do anything nor like reach enough of an audience. Like the original had an audience, not a huge one, but it had one.
Right.
This had no audience and no constituency and was thus instantly unpreserved.
Well,
Could we lose?
let's be real. The Vita is
TV.
Something.
I'm sure that AV's just going to bed. He's probably he's the
totally
kind to have
reasonable.
had a long day.
Yeah, I had a long day too. That's why I'm so cranky.
I also had a long day.
See, we don't get it.
Don't we all?
We'll just leave right now and leave Gogglebob all by himself.
Oh,
Nobody.
left alone with mana.
I am
As
very
you
tired.
should
I
be.
might just go to bed in a few minutes. But like, no, to your point.
Soporific effects of mana.
To your point, fanboy, about consumptive remakes. What you were saying, like in the MMA group chat, was basically that like you feel like Marvel has reached that point.
I would argue that, like, yeah, like,
Much
I
with
really
Marvel's
I'm
output
all
is
about
consumptive.
consumptive adaptation, if we're being clearer, but yeah.
Yeah, like they're consuming it. I'm not sure I would go quite that far. I don't want to call
I
myself a
draw this
Marvel
in part by virtue of the fact that they want to make a fourth Captain America movie, and they're having to fill it out with Hulk.
Again? Like I felt like,
the
they already
villain
did
of
that
this
with
is the
Thor.
leader and the Red Hulk.
Oh yeah, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, Red Hulk, and the leader, a villain that I don't think anyone but the Hulk has ever fought.
I mean, the leader is 100% just a Hulk villain. Like he fought the Avengers like a couple times, like in the old days, but it was also like
Back when the Avengers were not a premier team.
and also like Stan Lee needs a break. I'm just going to repurpose a Hulk story. Like anytime the leader shows up outside of the Hulk, like it's either a repurposed Hulk story or it's a repurposed Loki story, which probably is what's going to wind up being the movie because of course they killed Loki twice.
They just keep killing Loki. I'm not sure
It's
I would
time
call
to
that
call
like...
back to something we set up in 2008. And then forgot about because we were not making The Incredible Hulk 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure I would call that like consumptive as you described it earlier, as in like it takes the idea and makes it unworkable because one, they needed to give Anthony Mackie a Captain America movie because they basically told
They should have had him fight fucking Omega Red or something.
I don't know who that is. I don't care. I refuse to learn.
Guess
and
what?
two-
Same thing for the leader.
Fair enough. I'm not even aware of who the leader is. I just know that like
He is a man with a very large gamma irradiated head.
He's
I
a
feel
man with a
like-
big head, yeah.
I feel like all you need to like sell me on a movie is to say, "Oh yeah, Harrison Ford becomes the Hulk." That's fine. That's
Not the Hulk people like, but
the bad
The
Hulk.
bad Hulk.
But like
Hulk.
that's fine.
Is he young enough to be doing
He's
that?
Red
Harrison
Hulk
Ford.
is
He's
supposed
like
to be an
80.
old guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Red
He's
Hulk.
extremely old. He's Harrison
Hulk-
Red
Ford.
Hulk is like a guy
Don't get
from
me
a
wrong,
run from
I
like
love Harrison Ford, but
And
Red
also,
Hulk is from a run from like 10 years ago that like
Hey, Screamer,
people
let's
kind
go.
of
It's
didn't
Randy
like at the
here.
time.
What's up, man?
and Red Hulk
It's-
is straight up like the Hulk's father-in-law, more or less. Like usually,
Not that they did that.
I'm
Now
not
he's
gonna
just a
have
guy.
this- I'm not gonna have
Marvel
this
lore is so
conversation.
silly.
Marvel is extremely dumb. I
Yeah.
don't
are
read.
they gonna maybe make him his uncle since they did the cousin thing?
no,
I mean,
the cousin thing
was
something
just
that
like
already
that's just how
existed.
She-Hulk is. Thunderbolt Ross is supposed to be like, oh, it's the father of the Hulk's love interest.
Which Betty
they-
did
I
reappear in
don't
the
know
What If.
anything about that,
Filling
and I refuse to learn. Look, what
Hulk
I'm saying
smash,
is
Hulk love.
Hulk smash, Hulk love. No, I would say the greatest example of like a consumptive adaptation, as you put it, fanboy, would probably be last year's Secret Invasion, which was dog shit. Because not only was it terrible, but also they can't do another Secret Invasion. They already did it, and it sucked.
And no one is going to trust them to do it again.
Yeah,
That-
like you can't just say, "Oh, give us a do-over," or we have some actual interesting ideas this time. Because no, you already fucking did it. You burned it.
I
gone.
disagree with that because, like has been saying with the remakes, like they're basically doing a Hulk movie as Captain America. There's no reason they can't do Skrulls have invaded or whatever the fuck again just because they feel like it. Like
Skrulls invading was a bad idea in this context because they already established the Skrulls were refugees.
It's that's what I was getting at with like things that like when I was pointing out that it's like it's not even that they're out of good Marvel plot lines or at least entertaining Marvel plot
They
lines.
have like
I'll go with
70
that.
years of plot lines to work with. They can.
Yeah,
find
I'm saying
something.
that many
Korvac
of their
saga!
choices have
It's
actually.
really hard though.
I'm
It is.
saying that
Really
many
hard.
of their choices have walled them off from using them.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true.
but again, they also come back to the multiverse over and over again. So there's
just
really
Everyone's
Because-
least favorite part.
yeah, but
That's
that's
just because they want to like bring back the actor that everybody knows.
well, that's the thing.
Are
Is
we
like
excited for 5 Doctor Dooms, none of whom are Victor Von Doom?
I was about to say we've got the Tony Stark
Victor Von Timothy.
We've got Tony Stark,
yeah,
Victor
Von
Von Doom.
Doom.
We've got Captain America, like white Captain America, coming back, and he's probably going to be a Doctor Doom.
I really hope
White
I really
Captain
hope
America.
that like they
I'm
bring
calling them Captain America and White Captain America.
I love
You
it.
can't touch me.
That's really good. That's really great.
Is it
I-
actually that Tony Stark is Doctor Doom now, or
They haven't said what it is, but like I'm just.
But
I'm
But
just
Robert
making a
Downey
joke and
Jr.
placing
is
some
Dr.
bets.
Doom.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
zero
I know it's
chance.
Robert Downey Jr., but I was just wondering if if it was like then Tony Stark became Doctor Doom somehow, or if it was just like it's also played by Robert Downey Jr. Shut up.
I'm
they
really hoping.
haven't said one way or the other, but it's such gimmick casting, it's such a stunt that I do have to wonder if it's just like, oh, it turns out it's Tony Stark.
I really,
Like,
really.
isn't Tony Stark canonically dead
I
in the MCU?
That has
He is
never stopped
extremely
anyone.
dead.
There was a point
I
where
would-
Tony Stark died and was replaced by teenage Tony
I
Stark.
was about to say
I
Teenage
would
Stark.
bet my life savings that the way it's gonna go is they're gonna go to some other universe, some multiverse bullshit's gonna happen, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's Tony Stark, we can trust him," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Tony Stark, you can trust me," and then at the very end, he goes, "Haha, actually, I'm Doctor Doom.
I was Doom all along.
I was Doom all along." Ha 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 ha. That's 100% the right.
Fooled you, you idiot.
Yeah, you stupid fucking morons.
Did he actually watch the Agatha show?
What are you, some kind of fucking
All
moron?
over the place.
I got you now, you fucking moron.
Why didn't
Bitch.
they just call it Agatha all over the place?
Agatha everywhere.
First
Agatha
movie to
everywhere?
make
Wow, that doesn't
$1
look right.
million.
I know Beat watched about 3/4 of it, and not the 3/4 of it that you think.
I watched enough. I watched like the premiere, and I think I left it on for the second episode. And then I watched one in the middle that everybody said was the good one. It wasn't. And then I watched the end, and I missed nothing. I missed
Like I
absolutely
said, not the
nothing.
3/4 you think.
They stretched
No, I
that
believe
shit
it.
so fucking thin.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm just like, do I have to?
You don't.
And it
You
turns
don't.
out you don't. You're free.
You could just
Right.
fucking read the Wikipedia summary. That works.
You don't have to do anything ever.
Exactly. You don't have
Not
to do
really
anything you don't
inclined.
want to. You are living in the moment of ultimate freedom.
Plenty other things to catch up on.
Exactly.
Like, think
Don't-
about it. There was a time where I read Harry Potter, and then somewhere through Goblet of Fire, it's like, you know what? Fuck this.
That was exactly what happened to me.
Yeah!
It wasn't Goblet of Fire though. It was, I think, the one after Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire was 4 or 5. I don't fucking know.
Goblet
Yeah,
of Fire is
it was a
four.
fifth.
Okay, so it was the 5th. Okay, so I started reading the 6th, right? And like, by the time I got like 3/4 of the way through that like fucking enormous tome, I just started skipping entire chapters and just reading like the first paragraph of the chapter. And then I read like the last 2 pages. I was like, okay, I got the gist.
So what
And
you're
then-
saying is Harry Potter is Bleach.
Yeah, exactly. And then I read the very beginning of the next book, and it was like basically the like magic president calls up the normal prime minister, and it's like this conversation, and I would say it's the best part of Harry Potter because
level.
it's just the magic
Welcome to the
prime
next
minister
level,
going,
get ready.
"Hey, so I fucked up everything, and there's a dude running around just murdering the shit out of Muggles. He loves killing like you guys, so have fun with that. Also, I'm fired, and you'll never see me again. Bye." And the prime minister is just sitting there going, "Jesus Christ, just
Why is this my life?
you're dumping a lot on me right here."
I
man.
used to
mean,
not believe in magic.
I didn't believe in magic, and then it was my first day in office, and the picture suddenly started talking to me, saying, "Hey, so, gotta fill you in on some shit.
Magic is real, and
That
it
is-
sucks.
Magic is real, and it sucks." And like, as far as I'm concerned, that's like the only like 100% good thing Harry Potter did, because the normal prime minister just seems so fucking irritated. Just like, now I gotta deal with this shit. And like, yeah, that was all I read. Then I put the book down and said, "Yeah, I got everything I think I'm gonna get out of this." Never picked it up. I was done.
I'm
It was
now
good.
listening to One Fine Day by Offspring.
As you should. And it turns out J.K. Rowling is a horrific, like, disgusting fucking bigot. So fuck her. I hope she dies in a fire.
Fuck her.
And I said that on stream, and I meant it.
Or
And I
the-
agreed with it.
Perfect day.
I hope the mold gets her.
I think the
believe
mold
it
already
already
has
has.
gotten her. It's
Yeah.
scary thing.
I hope a Dementor becomes real and finds her and then kills her by doing the soul eating thing, and then it stops being real.
I really hope a Dementor
And then
eats
it
her and
stops
then does
being
the soul eating thing and then just spits it out because that shit nasty.
I like the concept that it would
Nasty.
be real just long enough to be annoying for one person.
Well, we don't want it to go on to suck out the souls of other people.
Yeah,
Like, we
I
just
mean,
need the one person.
logically,
I
yeah, I
hope that
agree.
Dementor
Yes.
then just like does a big TV interview saying, yeah, no, I ate her soul and spat it in the toilet because it was gross. Then I flushed it. So she's probably in the sewer plant by now. And then that Dementor goes on the Joe Rogan Experience and every other big podcast and like just gets like bit parts in like 50 movies and just like lives large for the rest of its Dementor life.
Make another Harry Potter movie just so they can have a real Dementor in the movie.
Yeah, he shows up everywhere in like the shutter shades and like features on a track of Immortal Technique. I don't fucking know. He just does whatever he wants for the rest of his life.
Honestly, I thought it was funny enough when you presented the idea of a Dementor giving an interview.
Hey!
A live interview with a Dementor.
Yeah,
Isn't that like the
Do they
ghost
talk?
of Christmas
just like on CNN News at 9 and saying, yeah, no, I can't say I
hate the
recommend
bitch.
eating that soul.
I'm trying to think of who would have the worst celebrity voice for a Dementor.
Just gonna like
the Dementor talks like Pauly Shore at all times. Hey, buddy.
see. I was just gonna say John Cena because it's so unfitting. It's perfect.
And his name is Dementor.
Chris
I can't see him.
When we're hanging with
Dr. Dementor.
Dwayne Johnson.
I knew jumping in this chat was a good idea after today.
Always a good idea. We're always happy to have you.
Yeah. Today was one of those days. I need to talk to people about funny shit.
Exactly.
You can't go to bed after de-stressing. You need to have a few laughs.
Oh yeah. That said, I am like at the point of exhaustion where I'm gonna pass out on my feet, and Gogglebob has
It's not
done
his fault.
exactly nothing. Like, I guess he's made some progress, but who cares?
I mean,
There's
I'm
a lady
almost at the
falling,
Dark
that means
Lord.
something, right?
We covered the.
And none of
Are
us
you about
cared.
Are you about to kill the Dark Lord? Like, should I stick around for another 30 minutes?
I
Why
mean,
is
the
that
Dark
lady
Lord
following
will
you?
be coming up within, I think, like 10 minutes, and then yes,
That's a no.
I will kill him. I will kill him.
Will the
I will
game
kill
keep
you.
going?
What is this icicle doing?
I'm
the game
controlling
keep
it.
Trying to make it so that he can
Are you sure?
actually solve this puzzle
Because
properly.
it looks like it's not being controlled. It's just going.
I was stalling it out so that way the knight would be standing somewhere. Because you can push, but you can't pull. So if the knight was in the
It
corner,
sucks in exactly the way you would think it
you would
did.
be fucked.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh because that snowman is adorable.
It's very
Right? It's so out of character for the rest of the
It's-
art.
Exactly.
it's very charming.
Also,
I will
those
give
little
you
It
mice
was
game
very
are
fitting
credits.
for the Game Boy sprites.
Yeah, I will give this game credit. It is occasionally very charming.
Yeah, the
Hey,
charm it has is 100% borrowed.
Only they had leaned into what was good.
You streamed the Game Boy version, didn't you?
Yes.
He did.
It was
Okay.
Currently available
thought
on
many moons ago.
gogglebob.com.
Yeah, it was this
Home
week's
of the
website
Gogglebob.
update.
I thought it looked kind of familiar for some reason. Just
And
not.
for those just joining us, there was an entire recap at the beginning of this video.
It's
Yeah,
too
I
big
didn't
long.
get to
I could
see
play it
it.
again.
I think I was
Angela,
there,
whose
but I like
presence
tuned
did
it
I
out.
acknowledge 3 or 4 times?
That was me.
Oh, well, it's Screaming Red Skull. Screaming
Yeah.
Red Skull's fucking awesome. I will
You're-
never apologize for acknowledging Screaming Red Skull. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I made it to the Dark
No.
Lord.
Oh,
No, I was mostly just making fun of your shiny object syndrome today.
I have that. Yes.
It's
Not
stronger
bad.
than
Very
usual.
rude.
That's a very fitting descriptor.
I just said no because like my cat's sitting on a chair and he was looking at me and his eyes got real big while looking at me.
You think he's going to try to eat
You
you?
should tell your cat yes. Whatever your cat wants, yes.
Don't you dare be mean to that fluffy baby.
He's mean to me.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make it right.
2 wrongs and all that.
So I
He's
noticed the
clearly
Dark
never
Lord has
met
the
him.
exact same like super driver move that you just used. Is
Yes.
that like because he's secretly your brother or your dad? Or
No, he's just the Dark
something?
Lord. Even the Final Fantasy version that made him like important just made him like the son of Medusa. So
Behold, I am
You
you, but
already
edgier.
killed his
More
mother.
like the Dork Lord.
oh, and
Got
also in Dawn of Mana and I think Rise of Mana, it's your or maybe no, it's children. No, not children.
Wow, that is such a pretty boy.
Not Echo.
Cannot imagine a prettier boy.
I like that.
And his mask comes off. He's like, "Don't look at me. I'm ugly."
Mhm.
You slay the Dark Lord.
That was less than 10 minutes.
You retrieve the mana pendant? Something's
It's
wrong.
fake.
This isn't the real pendant. Was that not the real Dark Lord either? Or was that just
No,
some
that was
guy?
the real Dark Lord, but the Dark Lord had a
Turns out
buddy.
we do not give a shit.
The plot thickens.
Where is
Where
Gog?
is Gog?
Is the Dark Lord fallen? Wait, was Gog the Dark Lord all along?
No.
I mean, that'd be a cool twist for a mana game. It never happens, but
What's
here's the
deal
big
with
twist. Gog, are you all right?
Why you move so slow? But somehow she's just gone. Oh, she is.
Once again, you are too late, boy. The power of mana is... I didn't see the last word.
Is mine?
Mine.
Mine?
I like that Gog has distinctly hypnotized pupils for this cutscene.
Oh, wait, so,
You just
so
didn't
hold
notice
on.
them before.
So that's not the Dark Lord?
The Dark Lord had a second named Julius, and that's who we're dealing with.
Oh,
This is like
so...
the Dark Lord Jr.
Is that like James Bond Jr.?
Yes,
I mean, it's your
exactly.
typical. It's Kefka from Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
It's other times that happened.
Hey, that waterfall's going backwards. It's supposed to be doing that? Like,
I mean, not really, but Gog has powers.
Goopy.
No, full.
Wait.
Me.
I, Garland, will knock you all down.
Pretty much.
Alright, that flowing water is messing with my head a little bit.
I feel like even like with like the limited tools available, they could have made that look way better.
You mean the falling scene? I can't
Yeah,
disagree.
Like they could have like put up a big particle effect and like changed the texture so it looked like a big crater, you know? Put a little flair on it.
Hey, I asked earlier, but I don't know if I didn't hear if I got an answer or not. How is this like a mana game if it's Final Fantasy? Like, is that like a localization thing where they're like, we'll just call it this over here?
No, it was in Japan. It was Seiken Densetsu Final Fantasy Gaiden.
Yeah, and it definitely
Like,
it included
originally,
chocobos
like, it just-
and Moogles and
Yeah, in its earliest conception, Mana was a spin-off of Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Gotcha.
yeah. And then
That-
there was the version of this that basically was a remake of it that tried to take all the Final Fantasy out of it, and nobody liked that.
That's not the reason no one likes it.
There were multiple
There
reasons
were
nobody
other
liked
reasons.
it, but for instance, it totally dropped the
Bogart.
Chocobo.
Bogart.
This
Bogart.
this game does brutal and horrible things to that poor Chocobo.
Is that Jeff Bogard?
Yes.
I mean, we're about to, I think, brutalize that Chocobo.
Yes.
Is Terry Bogard gonna show up?
No, you're not that lucky.
Dude's a gangster. His real name's Terrence.
Are you okay?
Parents.
Buster
And
Wolf.
his
And
parents have a
lives at
really
home
good
with both
marriage.
parents. And Terrence's parents have a real good marriage.
That steed of yours dearly died. But the professor has been tending to your bird.
Burb.
Bird.
Burb.
Bird.
Speaking of which, more pigeon gigs.
Where my burb at? I think it's over here.
So, I say pigeons because over the weekend I realized there was a game that they were selling that I bought when I went to Gen Con, except I had to order it online, and I had it sent to my parents' house because I was out of town. And I have not seen this game.
Your parents
So-
are playing it. Your parents think
It's
it's
getting-
shit.
Are
It's
your
getting-
parents playing How to Full Boyfriend?
They are. It's the greatest bird dating game available.
Oh no.
I'm not aware
Not
of
the
any
only one.
better bird dating games.
I
Wait,
was aware of
there are
other
more?
bird dating games, but I kind of hope there aren't.
Can we admire whatever has happened that made the professor just like a face with arms and legs?
I don't want to.
I'm not
I don't want to
gonna
admire that.
admire that.
Yeah, I refuse to admire
Go
that.
fuck yourself.
That's like a minion character from a 90s cartoon.
It's like a minion character from Minions, the Fantastical DreamWorks series.
I don't want to talk about minions.
Minions
We're
Horizon.
talking about Minions.
No. The brand
We're gonna-
saturation. I
We're
can't
gonna
stand
ri-
it.
We're gonna rise
Saturation.
that Gru. Gru's rising.
Where's he going?
Gru's is getting bigger and bigger.
My anxiety's rising. Minions.
Your anxiety
brands.
is rising in with Gru. You've obtained symbiosis with Gru.
No,
The minions now treat you like their leader.
I don't want to.
You know Gru has been fucking those minions. No, I don't know that, but thanks for showing your ignorance.
Why? Why?
Why not?
Because Dro can't be stopped.
I'm glad I haven't watched any of those movies, so I don't have a better or more deeper visual of this. I'm able to just block it out.
I have seen bits and pieces of them on TVs
You're
throughout
not missing
years, and I can tell you, they're fine. Whatever. They're movies for 6-year-olds, and
Yeah.
6-year-olds need movies.
I like their
Six-year-olds
ride
like
to
their
Universal.
It was silly as hell.
I watched like the first 3 movies.
Fine.
would've
were
been the target
probably
audience
six
for
some
them.
of them.
I know.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes.
Yeah, like
I
I can tell
disagree.
you the shitty things that I watched when I was a kid.
Oh God.
I was just reading an essay about how the new Transformers movie was like not deep enough. And I
Was
understand.
it someone who was like whose like brain was like cooked in the fucking like parts of the original Transformers the movie where they play a Weird Al song?
I mean, that's the thing, is that like you can't shine a turd that hard. Like
It'll just go away.
people were just trying to make something out of it that it's not.
Which Transformers are you talking about exactly?
Transformers. I was reading the essay distinctly about Transformers 1.
Transformers 1, I assume?
Yeah,
Oh.
which was just recently released.
The one that came out this year.
Yeah,
Yes.
the new one.
Okay. I was hoping you were talking about the one where the guy fuses with the robot and pretty much becomes Mega Man.
Yeah,
then-
no, I
and then-
watched that on Halloween and I was very happy with that.
And then you get to see Optimus Prime do a straight up stage fatality.
Yes. No, I mean,
Nope.
that movie was dumb as shit.
He headed
and,
that guy.
And also the what the hell? Oh, there we go. Also the ending of that movie attempts to do an Avengers with the idea that Transformers and G.I. Joe are now going to be in the same universe.
They've been
let me
trying
show
to
you
make
this
that
thing behind
dog
this
hunt for
secret wall.
15 fucking years.
God.
I remember watching is it the G.I. Joe movie that stars Louis Tan, like the spin-off one? Or is that someone else?
Is that the Snake Eyes one?
I want to say, but I'm not sure. I remember that they were saying that he was going to get a video game. Let's see.
Oh man, with that Marvel game that's released now, could you imagine a Overwatch-esque Transformers versus G.I. Joe game?
God,
like just how horrible it would be.
I don't want to, and I refuse to.
I'm imagining they make it perfectly to scale, so like one member of your team can just turn into a car and kill everybody in the transformation. Like he just transforms, and just plops down on top of everybody else.
I remember watching that movie because my mom just put it on to watch, so we had something to watch. And like at that end part when that guy turns around, I just felt the energy of I was supposed to be like, it's him, it's that guy from that other movie. Oh my god! And I was just in there like, I don't know who that is, but I'm expecting there to be a reveal. And then sure enough, he pulls the switch or whatever. The wall opens up. And you see the G.I. Joe trucks. They're just like, oh.
Okay, I got it mixed up. Henry Golding is the star of G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Louis Tan is the star of the Mortal Kombat movie, which is way better.
That's a sentence.
I genuinely love the Mortal Kombat movie because it knows exactly what it is, and what it is stupid as fuck. And it embraces that, and that's important, I think.
Are we talking about the Mortal Kombat movie where Kano has to get a special move?
We're talking about the Mortal Kombat movie where Kano gets his special move by being an asshole
I was
too
about to
hard.
say, by being as much of a dickbag as possible.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
So he's from Jersey?
Yes, he is.
No, he's from Australia, which is the Jersey of the West.
The Jersey of the global South.
Jersey of the South. Yeah, try that again, Bob.
I don't know how that makes sense, but it does.
It makes perfect sense.
I'll take
But no,
it over.
every scene with Kano in it is just fucking perfect. He is such an asshole, and normally I hate it when like, oh, this is the character that's an asshole, and you watch them because it's compelling. I normally hate that shit, but when he does it, I'm just like, oh, you're a perfect angel. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, he's not compelling. He's just like, it's like watching like a jester. It's like, what's he gonna do next? Who's he gonna pee on now?
At one point, like the bad guys just walk up to him and be like, hey, betray them, and he's like, yeah, all right, sure.
Will this benefit me in any way? Not particularly. All right.
I'm still into it.
I'm listening.
I'm willing to
it might
roll
be
the dice.
funny.
This might go
it's probably good for a
somewhere.
laugh.
I think there's an on-screen map that does nothing for you.
But yeah, it is a deeply stupid movie, but I enjoy every single moment of it. Also, it has a quite like detailed reference to Gary Goodrich's first UFC fight in it, which is not a sentence I ever thought I'd say, but it's beautiful.
What a weird timeline.
Yay. I brought a chair in this garage, and Edward likes steal it every time I get up.
That's the war between man and cat.
Yep, that's how it works.
I'm really tired today, but that's because I am not running on the amount of sleep that I should have.
That's true.
I'm
of many
also-
of us.
You should
I'm also
always get
super
enough.
exhausted. I should have gone to bed a half hour ago.
I was going to say, like, I just
Same.
rode the world on a chocobo made with metal legs. I think I'm ready to wrap
Yeah,
up.
I just like that they ripped a chocobo's legs off.
I mean, its legs were broken from carrying you, so it's like he wasn't using them
I think-
anymore.
They gave it the Star Fox.
That's not how that sentence is supposed to end, Gogglebob. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed.
Good
'cause
night.
I'm exhausted. Have a
I
good
was
night.
also
all.
about to take off, so I'll see you guys
Yeah,
later.
no, we're wrapping up
Yes.
here. Let's just
Hey,
call it a night. So,
I imagine
Everybody-
beach sleeping being like when you hit a red skeleton in Castlevania and it just collapses into a pile of bones.
Well, what do you know? We have a red skeleton right here with us right now.
Yeah, I can confirm that is how skeletons sleep.
That is exactly
makes
how it
sense.
works.
Thank you for the
confirming
confirmation.
they,
that
they
stuff.
make a
I'm
little
about to go
bone
jump
noise
into a
and
bone
everything.
pile right now. Later,
That's
buddies.
exactly what I'm gonna do. All right, have a
Good night,
all.
everybody.
Later.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you for manning.